All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another VanHack Success Case webinar. I'm Ilya, and today I'm super excited to be joined by not one, but two VanHackers Success Case who got hired. And funny enough, they're married, so to each other. So it's the first husband and wife couple that we have here. We have Poulami and Debarghya with us, who are now living in Berlin. And before we get started, as always, sound check 1, 2. So just want to make sure that can everyone hear us? Can everyone see us? If you just please give a yes or VanHack rocks or something fun in the chat, and we'll get started. So let's wait for 1 second. Let me also make you guys big so you can see both of you. Great. All right. Hello from Nigeria. Hello, Anil. Hello, Alozi, Abhishek, Edson, Camila, Nishant. Awesome. We have some great people with us today and some great people on the webinar. So let's get started. Please, do you mind introducing yourselves just quickly, who you are, where you're from, just the basic professional intro just for everyone to understand who you are.
Sure. Please first.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Poulami. I am a full-stack developer. I have around 1.5 years of experience. I have worked on both backend and frontend, but right now I work in a more frontend focused full-stack role, and I'm from India.
Cool.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Debarghya. I've got a similar amount of experience. I am a full-stack developer who was working in India, in Bangalore, and relocated recently after getting a job through VanHack to Germany.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much again for taking time. I know it's not that late, but it's after work hours here for you. So the fact that you're taking some time, probably sunny outside in summer here. So thank you so much for this, for that. Okay, great. So everyone, just want to make sure we see all the chat messages. We're gonna have plenty of questions for if you time for questions. So if you want to ask a question, you can ask now, or please wait till the end. Probably if you ask now, we might not answer it, but anyway, just we're here when we see you, Jairo, Emerson, Diego, Mary, etc. Okay, great. So let's get into the story. What made you want to kind of decide to take this crazy trip to relocate to Germany? Sorry, we're live here, so I have a delivery coming.
No problem. You can start?
Okay, so we were not actively looking in the beginning, but around sometime middle of last year, we thought about relocating to a different country for getting a different exposure to technologies, work cultures, and we wanted to travel in Europe. So that was a very important thing for us at that time.
Major reasons, actually.
Yeah, so we were kind of not very actively looking, and then we came across VanHack and kind of started the process, you can say. So
nice. So you wanted to go on romantic trips through Italy and Europe and Spain and Portugal. I love it. Yeah. I love it. This is I'm right there with you, right? Who doesn't want to do that? That's fantastic. Cool. So you decided to do this. How was the job search when you were kind of looking, like before you found VanHack, or did you find VanHack right away? Did it take some time? How did it go before?
So we kind of got a few openings already before we actively started looking in VanHack at all. But we were not that keen to pursue those, so we didn't really pay much attention. He got to know VanHack from some source. We kind of forgot what it was, some random source about almost maybe 1.5 years back or so. And we honestly kind of thought maybe it's a scam or something. We didn't pay much attention until last year, August, when there was this promotion for the women hiring event. And I guess it was COVID times and all, and we kind of got a bit bored with everything. And he thought, why not give it a shot? It's a women hiring event. You can just go and see what it is about. And there were a few offerings for the specific women developers. So we thought, yeah, let's just give it a try. Before that, we saw a few openings in LinkedIn and all, but since we didn't actively search, we didn't see that many openings. And the few which we saw, they were mostly not visa sponsored. So that was one of the important things we would say.
Makes total sense. So, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, continue. I was just adding to that. It was like visa sponsored jobs, and finding it in LinkedIn is kind of hard. So we were not really actively pursuing it that time either. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. One thing you just said I want to touch on, where you thought VanHack was a scam. We get that a lot. I'm not offended. Don't worry. It's true, right? Because there's a lot of kind of people out there or companies out there that are trying to charge you for jobs and things like that. So everyone here who's on us on the webinar, please tell your friends VanHack is not a scam. We're real. Yeah, I think that's interesting situation. So you came to this event, Poulami. How was the event? Because that's something maybe a little bit different. And we have actually 2 events coming up for everyone. Just go to VanHack, click on events, you'll see them. And we're going to have every few months events. So let's talk about that. How was the event experience for you? What did you like about it, and how did it work?
So for me, it was still during the COVID situation, so it was a virtual one. But I had a very positive experience from there. So we were actually offered weekly classes to help us prepare for a bit of technical, but mostly for the behavioral kind of interviews. And after that, after a month, the event was opened up where there were specific jobs which opened up only for the female developers. So I guess we kind of got an edge there, that there are a few jobs where only female developers could specifically apply to. One more thing was we got to interact with a lot of people there, a lot of people from VanHack, and also a lot of people who joined the event along with me. So as for the people from VanHack, I can say that they were very helpful because we were just starting on VanHack, and both of us actually, we had a lot of questions, and I actually could get answers to many of those by asking the people from the event itself. So it was very helpful, a very positive experience, and everyone was very encouraging, and applying for the jobs and all. It was pretty easy, very smooth.
Nice. And was there a fee for you to join these classes?
No. It was absolutely free. The only thing I guess I invested was my time. That's all.
Priceless. Time is the most valuable commodity. But it was worth the investment, right? Cool. Yeah. So just to be clear, when you're selected for events, we do a kind of a training program, and we also have a lot of free content too. And the mock interviews too are free. Basically, everything we do is free except for the premium, which is just more for English classes. Anyway, so you had the preparation. How was the actual event itself? Like, were you able to meet a few companies? Let's do Poulami's hiring process, and then we'll do Deeb's, and then we'll talk about both the relocation after.
So during the hiring process, it went on for a few days. The first initial part was the screening of the resumes. Actually, I didn't directly go and talk to any company or someone from the company directly. There was a resume screening. We were asked to see if we are the proper fit for certain jobs or not, and then apply. And after that, when my resume was shortlisted, after that I spoke to a few companies. There were also a few webinar kind of things where we could talk to a few companies spokesperson. But by the time it happened, actually, I was already shortlisted for the company where I'm working right now. So yeah, that's
cool. That sounds efficient. Great.
Yeah.
How was it so did you get hired first, or was it who got hired first?
He got hired first.
It was Deeb. Okay, so let's go back to Deeb, and then we'll talk about how it felt and kind of the next step. So Deeb, do you mind just sharing how was your journey when you applied for jobs at VanHack?
Yeah, sure. So as she said, so we were not really pursuing anything actively until she joined this women event. And then we found like, oh, wow, it's really nice. So we can actually apply to all the jobs pretty easily. And I started going through the job board and finding like relevant opportunities which are fit for my profile, and started applying to a couple of them. My process was pretty fast actually in the initial from the initial screening to the initial round of interviews. So I think even while the event was going on, I think my process had already started. And it went on for quite a while. Like there were multiple rounds of interviews and things. And I actually got it before I think she was in the middle of some process. So I got the job first. Yeah.
I think my actual interview didn't yet start by the time you got
Yeah, probably.
Cool. And how did you get the news? How did you feel? Take me back to that moment where like you got, I don't know, an email or a phone call or the good news.
Yeah, so I was in touch with one of the persons from VanHack itself. So we were in touch via Slack, and he used to resolve a lot of my queries and back and forth. He was kind of like the middleman between me and the recruiter and the company. So he helped a lot. And he was the one who reached out to me telling that I actually got the job. So which was really nice. And I was it's actually I think we did not apply much to any of the other companies we did not have too many interviews in VanHack other than this. So it was really great that I felt that I got a job abroad, that too in Germany. And it fulfills our, hope of traveling in Europe by staying somewhere in Europe. So it was great. But I was also worried since she hadn't got a job yet, and we're wondering what would happen. So it was kind of a mixed reaction at that moment. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and I just want to point out that this is pretty rare that you apply to a few jobs and get hired right away. We've had a VanHacker who applied to 400 jobs and got hired last week or this week. So it is a mix between applying to a few to applying to many. And just for everyone here, don't think that just because, like I see Sajid, you applied to 29 jobs and haven't had a response, doesn't mean that you're bad or it's the wrong situation. It really is a numbers game. And sometimes you get lucky. I'm not saying that you guys got lucky because I'm sure you're very, very good at what you do, but there is a little bit of a luck factor too. So it's a mix of both. And just people don't get discouraged because we do see a lot of people say, you know what, I applied to so many jobs, I don't hear back. And it is frustrating, I understand, but it also just keep going because it doesn't cost anything to apply jobs, and you might as well just keep trying until you get something. Anyway, yeah, so let's I'm getting some good product feedback. Thank you, Paul. Yes, we will unpublish jobs if they are already taken. We have many jobs that are also hiring many people. So we have one job, maybe we'll hire 40 people or something like this, and we keep the job open. That's why the job is still open. All the jobs on our platform are still active. Okay. Everyone's asking for feedback on their jobs. Okay. So you were worried about Poulami not getting a job. Then Poulami, you got the job. Was it really shortly after, like a few weeks, or how quickly was it?
I think it was a few weeks, 2 weeks or so.
Wow.
My process went actually pretty fast. I had delayed the interview process for 2 to 3 weeks, I guess. We had a bit of family crisis, COVID and all. So I delayed it for a while. But after that, when my process actually started, it was done within 2 weeks or so, I believe. So yeah, the duration between that, I was actually, definitely I freaked out a bit because he got a job and I didn't have a job and I didn't want to leave my job there. So we were very confused. But it happened so fast, so it was nice.
Yeah, that's I don't think that's never happened where like a couple on VanHack gets hired within 2 weeks of each other. Actually, no, that did happen once. We had one couple who came to an event and they both got hired in the same week, but this is the second time.
Nice.
Cool. And actually, it's funny. Just on that story, the first time it happened, the husband got hired basically just because his wife got hired, and like, oh, your husband's a Scrum Master? Sure, we'll hire him too. Same company. Anyway, yeah, it was funny. Okay, so let's talk about the relocation process. You mentioned COVID. It was kind of like probably a little bit longer. How was that process of actually moving your entire life from one country to another? Did you have some freak out moments? Was it stressful? I'm assuming there were some challenges, but yeah, maybe talk us about the good and the bad.
Yeah. I'll probably go. So the most time-taking and stressful part was probably getting the visa, or rather, not the visa, but the appointment for the visa. So we were moving to Germany, so the visa itself doesn't take that much time, but it's very hard to get an appointment at the local consulate or embassy. And due to COVID, there was a lot of restrictions, and it took us probably, I think, 1.5 months almost to get an appointment at the consulate. So, and for the visa application also, it took a lot of time. There were a lot of this is a huge amount of documentation that we had to prepare, with a lot of forms, a lot of signatures everywhere, and a lot of like relevant records which had to be given for the visa. So that took quite a bit of time, and some back and forth with our companies as well, because there's a lot of things which are required from the company's end as well. So that was a bit stressful, I would say. But the visa didn't take time actually. So we got it within probably 2 days from the time. Yeah, 1 day, I think.
24 hours actually.
Yeah, so we got the visa very quickly. And after that, it was more about just, leaving our job there and trying to move here and get some flight tickets and looking forward to just the movement. So that took a while as well.
Nice. Yeah. So, sorry, did you want to add? Okay, sorry, I'm missing you. Cool. Okay, so you got the visa, and then how was so you're talking about moving, did you get like an Airbnb to start? How was that feeling as well? Like when you landed in a new country, was it like on the airplane getting off? Like that must have been kind of crazy. Had you been to Germany before? Like were you just moving there without ever being there?
Yeah, that's something which we did. We didn't see the country and we just took a leap of faith, thinking it will be a nice place to go. Doesn't matter. We actually, honestly speaking, we had a few advantages because we both got jobs together, and both of our companies were giving us a bit of support, but on different aspects. So we didn't have to find a place to stay or something, because my company offered that for the first 1 month or so. So we had a place to stay and a place to quarantine, and then we could go on searching for the our house and everything. Yeah, those things didn't matter, but few weird things obviously happened. While coming, we didn't know that we had to change a train in between to actually come to Berlin from. I mean, there were 2 trains to be changed, and also the train broke down in between. So those were the funny moments which we laugh about now. But at that time, we got a bit irritated and freaked.
So you missed your train? What happened?
No.
The train broke down. It was like the train stopped working in the middle of the journey. It was like quite surprising. And considering that it's Germany, that people don't speak English around you, there was some announcement and we did not really understand the word of it.
We were half asleep because after the plane journey and all, we were like, now is the night time for India, and we were like half asleep. And then we got to know that everyone is getting down from the train. The train is not going to go. It was funny.
Oh man. What are the chances? Usually German cars and trains and mechanics are very, very good. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you figure that out, and I guess also you don't speak German, right? No Sprachen Sie Deutsch, right? Yeah. But that's not necessary to live in Germany, I think, especially Berlin.
Exactly.
Yeah, Berlin, it's actually pretty accepting.
Yeah. And
nice.
We don't find any problems. Just the forms and stuff are sometimes in German, and it's like Google is there to help you out. You
Google
can just translate.
rescue. Yeah.
Yeah. You use that app, right, where you go on your finger and yeah. Cool. So yeah, anyone here who's thinking about maybe moving to Europe, Germany is definitely a great destination. I actually lived in Berlin myself for about 9 months. I loved it. And yeah, I think it's don't be worried about the language. Just go in and enjoy the experience. So how's work? Like, are you enjoying the work there? How's the culture versus maybe back home? What are you working on? Are you building any kind of cool projects without revealing too many secret things, but just generally? Yeah, how's work for both of you?
So I can start. So I work in an e-commerce company, and I work in a very customer-focused role right now, a bit different from what I was doing in my just previous job. So whatever I build, it goes to the customer in the next very second. It's a bit terrifying in the initial days, but now I guess it has become more normal. The tech stack here is the one which I'm working on. The tech stack is really nice. There are a lot of things to work on, and the developer has got the responsibility right from the development to the final deployment of the product. So I guess lots of things to learn. And usually here people have a very focused approach to what they're working on, a bit different from what we have in India. Their developers work on multiple things together. Here it is not the case. So people work on very focused technology. So yeah, we like it here. Yeah, I guess at least I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll probably go. So I'm working on a role which is like I'm working for a company which does something related to AI and some chatbots. So I'm working in one of their teams which does some analytics on the conversations that happen. So I'm currently working on the front end of it. We're both full stack developers. So right now I'm focusing on the front end, not yet in the back end part. But some point I will do, maybe like in the coming days. The tech stack is also similar to what I was working on. It's with React and like other things as well. So it's nice. We're both enjoying, I would say. And it's a nice place. Mine's a fully remote job, by the way. So I have the freedom of never going to office and probably working from anywhere. Yeah, so that's a different kind of experience as well. Never having to meet people, but we did meet some of the team members are actually there in Berlin. So we kind of had a like face-to-face meeting just for some chat. And
Nice.
That was nice. So we're liking it here.
That's fantastic. No.
On the contrary, mine is actually a job where I have to go to office, but due to COVID, we are working from home, and I haven't met any of my team members yet. So that's the funny thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think these days though, like working online is becomes so normal. So I haven't met a lot of people on Team VanHack, but I feel like I'm like really close with them, closer than people who live in my city. So I think it's it's nice to meet people in person for sure, but it's also nice to have that flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So there's one thing I wanted to ask you. Like, yeah, the work's good, and then like the settling into Germany. You said how have you found a place? I'm guessing you have. How was like the logistical things? All the little things into healthcare and just generally like, is everything okay? How was that?
Yeah, so I guess settling in Germany, what we can say is you have to do a lot of paperwork. Thankfully, a lot of that was taken care of by the people from our company, so they took care of it. We didn't have to do it on our own. But yeah, there is a lot of paperwork involved in everything, like from opening a bank account to actually getting your health card. So those things are the first hurdles which you have to cross. And another very important thing is finding a house here is a bit tough. So you should start really, really early. Like probably before even moving here, one should start the research and start trying to see where do you actually want to stay. It's not like you don't get houses, but if you have to get it in a really short notice, you will not be getting it in the duration for which you want it, or it will be really costly. So yeah, finding a house was a bit tricky.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that was pretty stressful for us during the initial days. So we did not know about this that well. And after when we actually started house hunting here, it was like, we don't know where we are going to go after a month because we don't have a place to stay. Probably going to rent out a hotel or something, but thankfully we found one. So yeah, it's a little tricky to find a house here in Berlin.
Yeah, I understand. Any kind of these major cities have a lot of people immigrating to them. A lot of people living there is a little bit harder. I'm glad it worked out well. So how about you mentioned traveling? Have you been able to travel at all with COVID? Have you gone to any kind of cool places? Have you gone around Berlin at least? Tell us about your kind of the fun side of things outside of work.
So we went around Berlin a bit. I think the best thing we like here in Berlin is the public transport, and I mean, you have that option to get a monthly card, and all over the weekend you can go around traveling in any of the public transports for as many times as you want, and it's pretty easy. Like you don't have to buy the tickets or something, and it's really smooth. And I feel we really like that. And we have gone to a few places here, like the Brandenburg Gate and all. Most of the things were closed till now. We went to a few parks. They were really nice, really green, and we really liked it. We saw cherry blossom here, first time for us. Really lovely. And right now the museums and all are just opening up. We plan to go there. Like we have the plans to go for a long vacation in August. Let's see how that works out. Just got the first vaccination, both of us. So once we get the second vaccine, we'll be able to travel. We'll get that digital certificate thing where we can show and travel to any of the countries around. So we are just waiting for that really.
Nice. So where's the vacation going to be? Have you decided? Italy, Spain, Portugal?
No, we were thinking we wanted to go to Netherlands, Austria, but we were also thinking of Croatia and Hungary. So let's see.
Croatia, Hungary. Go there. Netherlands and Austria is nice, but Croatia, Hungary, I'd say is more fun. You can Ilias travel agent advice. I think Croatia, the coast. I've never been there actually, but Budapest is beautiful. I've been there. You should go to I've heard good things about the Dalmatian coast in Croatia. So maybe if you want to see some more summer vibes, I think this would be better. Although Austria and Netherlands is lovely, but it's more like going to museums and things like this. So yeah. Anyway, I like here for a while. It's also a big passion of mine. Yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email afterwards. The VanHack post relocation service. We can help the vacations too. Cool. So what advice do you have for other people? We have a few VanHackers here with us. What do you wish you knew before you started? What would you like to tell people who are trying to do what you did?
I think actually both of us, we have the tendency to plan everything from before. So when we started actually applying for the VanHack thing, the first thing which we decided was we'll not apply to random jobs. We'll only apply to the ones for which our skill sets match. So I guess that's something which everyone should do. Instead of just applying to all the jobs. I mean, all the jobs are for a senior engineer, but not all the tech stack is applicable to me. So I guess that's kind of filter which everyone should do. And I guess fixing the resume, that's very important, because many a times we do not write the relevant things in our resume. That's something which one should actually adjust to the JD, because I might know 10 things, but not all 10 things are applicable for this particular position. And I feel whatever one writes in the resume, that's something one should definitely know. If I say that I know React, then I should definitely know it in and out. I feel these three things are very important. And yeah, you need some patience. For us, it actually happened pretty fast. But even then, I would say, to get the first shortlisting is that might be a bit taking.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sharing the resume template here for everyone to see. We have the VanHack resume template. If you haven't used it, people, please use it. It's so true, right? We always want things right away, and it's a pretty big change in your life. It's not even just getting a new job, right? You're moving your entire country life. You're going to the country. So yeah, having a little bit of patience when trains break down or calls immigration is closed, it's very important. And that's really nice advice. I agree with you. And I think I was also, just to touch on that point of being a little bit more selective with the jobs you apply to, or just that's really important too. And also be very fast when applying to jobs. You want to make sure you're applying to the job pretty much right when it gets posted, because usually we check the candidates in the first day, especially if they're just hiring one person. But if they hire more people, then it's okay. Cool. So, Adib, anything from your side in terms of advice?
Yeah, I would say mostly with the CV. So I think resume is really important, and tuning the resume to the right jobs is actually very important, I would say. You can have a generic CV with all sorts of skills, but if it's not applicable to the position that you're applying for, it might not get shortlisted. So it's worth applying to 10 jobs and not 100 jobs, and 10 jobs in a right way and with a right set of skills highlighted, I would say. That's probably the biggest thing which we actually learned from VanHack, I would say, because there were a lot of people from VanHack who helped us to do this. During her event as well, there was a lot of advice.
Sessions, and that really helped. I mean, it kind of showed us the path that what do you actually need to apply for a job abroad, because the way we come from India, so the way it is done in India is pretty different from the way it is done abroad. So that kind of tuning is actually necessary.
Nice. And how about how about the technical interviews? Got myself up. How about the technical interviews? What was that like? Because I think that's a point maybe where a lot of VanHackers aren't prepared or general. Like, did you do anything special to study for the technical interviews, like systems design and kind of algorithms and data structures? Like, was that something that you studied? Was that just something you knew from work before? Let's talk about that, because both of you pass in very great companies that are very high level, like very difficult to get into. So what did you do to make sure you were prepared for this?
So, I mean, we were actually given, I can talk about myself. So during the first discussion with the recruiter from the company, the person gave me an overview of what kind of rounds will I be facing, like what was the interview pattern and all. And we actually, like, I prepared accordingly. There was system design, there was coding round, there was also general tech, and they have that in my company. They have that pattern that the first interview is for 1.5 hours with my current hiring manager. He took my first interview, and he actually touched all the aspects. And that was, I would say, it was not that tough. But after that, I had a session of back-to-back sessions for 3 hours or 3.5 hours, I believe. Yeah, and that was the one which was actually pretty tough. I found the interview here to be pretty tough. It was really on a very extreme high level. We prepared. I mean, we didn't do anything special to prepare for the technical thing. That's true. I mean, probably we just saw a few videos for the system design and all, but we were already working on similar things. So nothing special, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
okay.
Yeah. So for me, it was like a recruiter call, kind of like a screening call to check for fitment, and then it was like an interactive round, a coding round with one of the senior members of the team, and then it was like a set of, I think, 5 interviews in a day. Not in a day, I think spread over 2 days, which was like which covered everything from coding to system design to behavioral, a lot of things actually. And what I would say is the technical part is, of course, something that you would have to prepare, like the right kind of questions and the right kind of algorithms or something. If it's asked in the specific company, I think it would be good to have a look at interview experiences or something if it's available somewhere around to get an idea of how the tech rounds are going to be. I actually had some help from the recruiters as well regarding what kind of rounds I'm expecting. So if it was not like I was given just 5 rounds of interviews will be there and I have no clue what they're going to be. I had some idea about a general idea about what kind of things are going to be asked and what are the aspects that are going to be touched upon. So the recruiters helped me in that way. Besides that, I would say there was a lot of stress on the behavioral aspects as well, which probably in my country, I would say we do not really focus on it at all. But I found it very important in Germany that there's a lot of stress put upon the fact that you should be fit for the team, culturally fit for the team or the company, I would say. So lot of things put in all the interviews regarding that, the cultural fitment part, which I think again VanHack helped a lot in that to prepare. We kind of were clueless before applying, and after attending some of the webinars, and actually we were kind of also mentored before the interviews which we had. So there was somebody from VanHack who would like take a half-hour session to talk about what kind of things we can expect and things like that. So that also helped a lot. And behavioral aspects are also important, equally important, I would say, in jobs abroad. That's one aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I did ask about just the technical, but it's very good that you also brought up the behavioral, because that is a huge part, right? Like if a company asks you, what do you think, of our product, or what about our values, or tell me about a difficult situation, because they want someone, to be cohesive in the work environment, and that's very important. And also, especially guys, really important tip here: if you are getting this question, why do you want to work for, X company? The answer is not because I want to move to Germany, or I want to move to, Ireland, or I want to move to X country where the company is. That is like game over if you say this, because yes, they understand you want to move to that country. You're applying for a job in that country, so obviously you want to move. But there has to be more, and companies are very worried about bringing someone over, investing a lot of time, a lot of money into the relocation, and then the person just leaves when they get another offer. That might be a little bit better. So really make sure that you want to work for that company, and because probably you're going to be spending another 2-3 years of your life working there, and that's very important. So really, really good point about the behavioral. And yeah, just one quick thing. We had we didn't really talk about the mock interviews, but that's something I think is very important to touch on as well, right? Because I believe both of you had mock interviews with our team.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about that? What kind of preparation did you receive, and how was that helpful for you?
For me, I think I got additional help because I was part of the event. So there were actually a few sections during the event itself where the candidates, they practiced with certain questions which could be part of the actual behavioral interview. So that was the initial starting point. And after that, when I finally crossed I was shortlisted for the company, I had an initial mock interview where I was told what kind of things should I read about the company, what kind of things should I prepare for their values and all. So that was one initial round, and after that, before the final discussion, like the time I was shortlisted, just before that, I had another interview, a mock interview where I was given some additional questions to prepare. This is something which actually we never thought that we would have to do, and we kind of find it a bit. We actually found it harder than the technical aspect because we had to prepare a set of questions and then think what these are the pointers which we are going to talk about if someone asks about it. But VanHack really helped. It made it pretty easy because we had actually got no clues how to answer a lot of those questions. For the company, we actually liked the company profile genuinely. So we had that the genuine interest that we wanted to work there. But there were a lot of other questions, and they were actually even in the technical rounds, they actually asked a lot of behavioral questions, and they are actually very nicely sandwiched between the technical questions. So you have to be really prepared.
Yeah, they'll throw it in, and you have to change your minds, kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hey, it worked for both of you, right? So you did something correct, and I think it's of course, very good professional experience, a lot of years of working and learning, but also preparation kind of came together and help you with this. Awesome. So we have about 15 minutes left here, and I just want to open the floor up to questions from our other VanHackers who are here with us. So just one quick thing I want to see. I said in the chat. So Paul, Mary, yeah, definitely there's a lot of candidates and not that many jobs. We're actively working to bring many more jobs to the platform. Yeah, I would say it's free, and there's also a lot of other job boards out there. So don't just apply on VanHack. Apply to many jobs all over the internet. Hopefully VanHack will help you, but if not, maybe our content will help you get prepared, and you'll find something great somewhere else, and that's also great. So yeah, just something to clarify, and we are also working hard to get more feedback for everyone. I also, Kitan asked a cool question here. Was the classic useless DS algo round also asked? So did you guys have to do, I don't know what DS, maybe design systems algo round? Is that something that was asked in either of you? Sorry, please.
Mm-hmm. DS is data structures. I think that person means. Yeah. There is always a coding round involved, and for me, there was initial coding round actually where I had to solve 2 or 3 questions within a certain time. That was a more DS focused question, I would say. After that, during the actual interview, they directly didn't ask any DS algo questions, but the coding round was there, and there were additional questions on what I had previously solved. So, to some extent, DS algo is necessary, but probably not to a very extreme level. But yeah, some understanding is definitely needed.
Okay, cool.
Round actually.
I
had a dedicated round on that, so yeah, different experience, I would say. I had an algo round where I had to solve some problem. So yeah, depends upon the company, I would say.
Yeah, it's I think just you should prepare, study, be ready for everything, and also like the company will probably tell you what to do. One quick thing as well, I just remembered is you were using the referral program, right? So I believe one of you referred the other one, and there was a $500 bonus. So let's quickly talk about that. Was it the easiest $500 you've ever made in your life? Or
yes, for sure.
For sure.
Cool. So not only did you get hired, you actually got paid to get hired, right?
Yes, that's the fun part. We actually laugh about it quite a lot.
Okay. So tell us how that happened.
Actually, yeah. He referred me, as I said before, he was in VanHack for a year or year and a half before, and he never completed his profile or anything. So he referred me, and I was the first one to complete my profile and do the English test and all the coding rounds and all. But when when both of us got the job, we finally understood that, okay, now he can get the referral bonus, and then he got it. So it was really nice.
Yeah, it's probably very easy to get it, and I would say very easy money, I would say. And probably if people have friends who are looking for jobs abroad, it's probably the easiest way to get some money.
Yes.
All you have to do is send a link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone just go to vanhack.com/referral. I put it in the notes, and I'll broadcast it out here too. And yeah, you get your own unique your referral URL. You just share it to the best developers you know who are interested in international hiring. They get hired, and a few months later, $500 shows up in your bank account or PayPal or however you prefer. So that's really cool. Maybe you can use this money towards a vacation, or maybe you already invested in something. But anyway, cool. Yeah, and then any other questions here from the audience? What kind of behavioral questions were you asked? So Andre is asking that. So that's a nice question, Andre. Any specific behavioral questions that stand out?
I think it was mostly whatever is being guided in VanHack. So VanHack already has a few suggestions, but every company has got a few questions to ask about their principles, and they usually ask about experiences by which you can vouch for those. So those are, I think, bit a bit tricky to prepare for the company specific way. I don't remember any specific questions by now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, the preparations were enough. That much I can say.
Okay, so you hit on the principles. So like every company has their own set of values, principles that you should definitely study. And I can tell you, as someone who does interviews, I always interview people to join our team at VanHack, and it's not something that's a deal breaker. I won't completely dismiss the person if they haven't done this, but every company on their about page, or if you just do a little bit of digging on their website, has this list, and you should definitely know some of them and be able to talk about them. So anyone here who's listening, make sure you're doing that and be able to connect your experience with the value of the company. So don't just say I really like this value, but give a reason and have some evidence. So nice, great. Thanks, Andre. Great question. Any whiteboard sessions? That was something here. Was there any kind of whiteboarding that you had to do?
Yes. So right now, since everything is virtual, not a technically speaking whiteboard, but yeah, you have the online board to share where, especially the system design was definitely one of those. So yes,
I think coding rounds are also like live coding where
yes,
others can
live
see
coding.
whatever you're typing. So it's you can say kind of whiteboard session.
Yes.
And system designs, of course, you are given something to paint on and draw some blocks or something. So you can say it's a proper whiteboard.
Like a Microsoft Paint screen share.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways of testing, and it's just as long as you're prepared to know your stuff, it doesn't really matter how they ask it, right? So, cool, awesome. How about the food? How's that? Like, it's a kind of random thing, but like, are you adjusting to the German food and going to Edeka and then all the supermarkets there? How is that going? Aldi.
Going to the supermarkets was a bit tricky in the initial days because everything here is written in German. So
Yeah.
for the initial days, we actually had to translate a few things, but now I guess we have understood some of the initial words, and now it has become easy. The food is okay. We are actually, I mean, we like international food, so we didn't have any problem adjusting.
Okay.
Germans love bread, so they have bread in everything.
Yes.
And worst, or sausages, you could say. So
Yes.
they have bread and sausage everywhere, pretty much.
Cool. Well, I know a startup from Berlin called HelloFresh, and I think they have some nice meal solutions there for the potential. Anyway, yeah, I just thought of that. Okay, cool. So here we go. Any other questions? Geographical location. No, geographical location. Sometimes it does. Like some companies. So Pembury is asking about geographical location. So something that's happening, we're seeing as a trend, just for everyone to understand, is some companies are open only to people who are in specific time zones, which I personally think is really silly. But people are people and they have their preferences. So some companies just want people who are in, let's say, they can work Eastern time zone or can work a few hour overlap. And sometimes people who are on the other side of the world, it's harder to have that. So it does depend on the company. Usually in the job description on VanHack will say, like, this job prefers people in specific regions, which again is really, in my opinion, not something that people should do, but every company, we have to respect their wishes. But there are many companies who are open for people from anywhere, which is great too. Ali's asking about German. We already talked about this. So just quickly, you don't need to have any German to work in Germany, or at least in Berlin, or for any job at VanHack. Yeah. Anything else? Interviews are held in English. Yep. Okay. How did you prepare for the interviews? So just to touch on that maybe again, like, did you do anything outside of the VanHack preparation? Did you like interview each other, or like what did you do anything?
Yeah. That's something we did.
Okay. So tell us about that. So like you did a mock interview to each other and like you gave each other feedback on the answers. That's really cool, actually.
We actually work on the similar tech stack, and we have done that always, so it didn't seem different. We have checked quite a few jobs before, so that's something which we always did. But I mean, nothing specific for the job abroad, we would say. I mean, you can even do it with a friend if that's how you prepare. So what I'm trying to say is no special preparation.
I actually think this is pretty cool because most VanHackers don't really have their spouse working in tech, right? Usually they're working in another field. So if you can have someone who you really trust and can help you and give you honest feedback, I think that's a secret weapon. So everyone out there, like, go and marry another developer or just make friends, and you can help each other, because I do think iron sharpens iron, this kind of phrase of you help each other and improve. I actually do think that's something different, because a lot of times people maybe won't give you the right honest feedback. Hey, that was terrible. Like, your friends won't say that to you, but maybe your spouse will. So I really think that's a nice aspect, and probably you help each other grow in your career. So yeah, everyone, that's a nice pro tip there. If you can find someone who can give you some nice honest feedback on your technical skills, yeah, great.
Um, when I was in the event, there was a talk about the people in the event trying to interview each other. So I guess that's something which the VanHackers can definitely do. When the Slack is there, you can connect to anyone and then have a virtual interview or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like if anyone here isn't in the Slack group, just go to the top of your VanHack menu and click on the Slack icon, join there. And yeah, it's very active. Like if you have any questions, please. Also, one thing we're trying to encourage, if VanHackers are having technical problems, you can just ask the Slack community and then have someone to talk to and solve your problem in real time. So yeah, I just want to say hola, Manuel, Juan Manuel. Well, good to see someone from Mexico. So yeah, we're trying to expand in Mexico. So if you, yeah, great to see. Danny Bastos, hello there as well. You're both pretty late, but you can watch the replay on YouTube. It's good to have you both here. Okay, so we have a few minutes here. Sat is asking, if you're a polyglot developer, do you apply to relevant positions or prioritize applying? That's up to you, Sat. Like, apply to the ones you feel more comfortable with. And I would say typically companies are looking for someone with more specific skills. So I think a lot of times in the places like India and also in Brazil, where I used to live, so I know a little bit about the tech market there, people are very broad, right? You can do a lot of different things. But in North America, Europe, they're looking for more specialists. So if you are like a front end or like a full stack JavaScript engineer, as I think both of you are, right? You should really focus on that and be really focused on applying jobs there, because the competition for jobs, I think, is pretty high. So if you, especially when you're doing an international job, so you really want to focus on your strengths. Is there a checklist of how to start at VanHack? Yeah, we do. We have a course here that you can watch about how to make the most of VanHack. Let me just share that with everyone. Yeah. So watch this course here. And everyone, thank you so much for your feedback. We're getting a lot of feedback here. Always is very good. Alejandro is asking, in your opinion, what are the most important soft skills a developer needs in their resume?
We didn't have any soft skills mentioned in the resume, actually. They definitely evaluated during the interview, but nothing mentioned in the resume.
Yeah, I would agree. Soft skills aren't really something you put in the resume. Soft skills are more something you show in the interview. The most important soft skills, I would say, are being able to be concise. A lot of times I see VanHackers talk for 10 minutes and don't say very much. So if you can really, especially I know it's sometimes in a different, not your first language, a foreign language, if you're able to condense your answers, too short, but also not too long that it becomes like, okay, when will this person stop talking? And that's not good. How is the job market now in Germany? Would you have difficulty switching companies now? Actually, that's always a fun question. How many recruiters are messaging you both every week? 5, 10, 35?
Yeah. Right now, I would say with our profiles deactivated and we're not looking for anything, we get, I think, at least 5 a week, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's a good tech market here.
Very good, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty active.
I heard something where 4 years ago there were 5 jobs for every developer in Germany. I'm sure that number is much higher now, probably 10 or 15 jobs for every one developer who's in Germany. So yeah, the market is really, really good to be done. So Amandeep says, congratulations, first and foremost. And then I have a few questions for you. So Amandeep, please ask your questions. Andre is asking, which documents do you need to have to prepare after you got hired? Do you remember which documents you need to show?
For the visa? Or
I believe so, yes.
So for the visa, there'll be a specific country-specific list that you can get in the whatever your consulate's website is. You can prepare accordingly. One thing which you need is a letter from your employer that they're ready to hire you. So that's something which you'll have to ask from the company. Other than that, your resume, few forms which you have to fill up, your passport, some pictures. That's it, I guess.
I think lots of different forms.
Yeah,
I think
lots
that will
of
be
forms.
different for different countries. So
Varies from
Yeah.
country to country. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't really worry too much about this. Get the job first. The forms are the easy part, right? It's just bureaucracy. Prove who you are, that you are, have a passport, these kind of things.
yeah.
Franco, yes, everyone gets a work permit. So if you get hired, then you get a work permit for your family. So we have two VanHack team members here, Marina and Batan. We're both saying hi to you both, and it's nice to see you. So is there
Hi.
anything you want to say? Do you mind just sharing? But we have a few minutes left, so just any messages to the community, last words, please.
I think VanHack has given us that support which we could ever ask for. Like VanHack has been there always whenever we needed any kind of any information, or maybe actually Bitan was my contact from VanHack, and he actually cheered for me quite a bit. I would say he kept on saying, "You'll do fine, you'll do good." I told him quite a few times that the interviews are really tough. I don't know where is this going, and he was always very encouraging, and Marina as well. Like everyone from Vanak, whomever we spoke to, I think you spoke to Alan, right? Everyone, Fernanda, everyone was very, very helpful. Whomever we spoke to, they're very friendly and approachable. That's something which we can definitely say.
Did you want to add something, or all good?
yeah, that we really had a very good experience. As I was telling, right, like we never believed that this was a real thing, but after the webinar that she attended, I mean the session, women hiring sessions and stuff, we were pretty much convinced that it's very much genuine and it's probably too good to be true. And I would say it is actually too good to be true, I would say, because you're not really paying anything. And if you refer, you get money for doing that. And you actually get all the support that's required to get a job. The best part, I would say, is having jobs which are visa sponsored, collated in a single location, which you cannot really find anywhere else. Like you can hunt in LinkedIn thousands of jobs, but you don't really know which one is open and which one is actually going to sponsor your visa. So it saves you a lot of time, and it was really great. And I think VanHack's doing a really great thing. So I would recommend it to anyone.
Thanks so much. Those are both very, very heartwarming messages. I'm sure Bitan and Marina are feeling the same way I do, saying thank you for sharing. Just last quick thing. There's someone here on the webinar. I want to just check. Abhishek, is this the Abhishek who got hired in Toronto yesterday? Because we're having a tradition now of having VanHackers who get hired join the webinars. So we had someone get hired. Abhishek, VanHack to the moon. I just want to make sure if it's you, because there was someone with the same first name. So that's always fun. Okay, Abhishek, if you could say if it's no problem if it's not. Yes, it is. Okay, great. That's what I thought. Awesome. Abhishek, congratulations as well for getting hired, and we're excited to have a webinar with you as well in the future. Okay, cool. So, Poulami, Debarghya, right? Wrong. I keep saying your name. I'm so sorry incorrectly. Thank you so much for the time. I can't wait for you to share a beautiful picture of you on a yacht in Croatia on your vacation this summer. Enjoy it. Enjoy Europe. Enjoy everything, please. It makes me so happy. So thank you. And everyone here on the webinar, just go to vanhack.com, apply to some jobs, hang out in Slack with us. We'll see you in the next webinar. And enjoy your evenings there to both of you. Thanks again. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll be the same. Ciao.
Ciao.